Alrighty, everybody, welcome into This Is From the Main. And we're reading through Ezekiel chapter 37 and 38, and then we'll break things down as we go along, so let's just get into it. The Valley of Dry Bones. The hand of the Lord was on me, and he brought me out by the Spirit of the Lord, and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. He led me back and forth among them, and I saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were very dry. He asked me, Son of man, can these bones live? I said, Sovereign Lord, you alone know. Then he said to me, Prophesy to these bones and say to them, Dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the Sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you, and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you, and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as was prophesying, there was a noise, a rattling sound, and the bones came together, bone to bone. I worked, and the tendons and flesh appeared on them, and skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. Then he said to me, Prophesy to the breath, prophesy, Son of man, and say to it, this is what the Sovereign Lord says. Come, breath, from the four winds, and breathe into these slains, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded, and breath entered them. They came to life and stood up on their feet, a vast army. Then he said to me, Son of man, these bones are people of Israel. Then say, Our bones are dried up, and our hope is gone. We are cut off, therefore prophesy and say to them, This is what the Sovereign Lord says. My people, am going to open your graves and bring you up from them. I will bring you back to the land of Israel. Then you, my people, will know that I am the Lord. When I open your graves and you bring up from them, I will put my spirit in you, and you will live. And I will settle you in your own land. Then you know that I, the Lord, have spoken, and I have done it, declares the Lord. So the Lord was saying, the Lord there, he's like, he wanted to rebuild people out of bones. Pretty much, I think he's referencing to the full land itself and how he's going to repair everything in this land. Because if you remember in the last video, I stated that the Lord was speaking about bringing, you know, making the land better by overruling it with other people and things he's going to do with the land. So that's what I think he's talking about here, just from what I understood. Now, remember, the Bible is written in a form of poetry, where if you have to read between the lines to kind of understand it and get a grasp of what's going on. So, all right, one nation under one kingdom. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, take a stick of wood and write on it, belonging to Judah, and the Israelites associated with him. Then take another stick of wood and write on it, belonging to Joseph, that is, to Ephraim, and all the Israelites as associated with them. Join them together in one stick so that they will become one in your hand. When your people ask you, won't you tell us what you mean by this? Say to them, this is what the Sovereign Lord says. I am going to take a stick of Joseph, which is Ephraim's hand, and the Israelites' tribes associated with them, and join it to Judah's stick. I will make them into a single stick of wood, and they will become one in my hand. Hold before their eyes the stick you have written on, and say to them, This is what the Lord, the sovereign Lord, says. I will take the Israelites out of the nation where they have gone. I will gather them from all around and bring them back into their own land. I will make them one nation in the land. On the mountains of Israel there will be one king over all of them, and they will never again be two nations, or be divided into two kingdoms. They will no longer defile themselves with their idols and vile images, or with any of their offenses for I will save them from all the sinful slide backing, and I will cleanse them. They will be my people, and I will be their God. My servant David will be king over them, and they will all have one shepherd. They will follow my laws and be careful to keep my decrees. They will live in the land I gave to my servant Jacob, the land where your ancestors live. They and their children's children, will live there forever, and David my servant will be their prince forever. I will make a covenant of peace with them. I will be an everlasting covenant. I will establish them and increase their numbers, and I will put my sanctuary among them forever. My dwelling place will be with them. I will be their God, and they will be my people. Then the nations will know that I, the Lord, make Israel holy, when my sanctuary is among them forever. So, again, he, he wants to bring the nation together, give it one kingdom, and he wants to bring it back to a beautiful place it once was, and he's referencing as a stick being about how big God really is. He's endless, and he can pretty much pick you up and treat you like a stick, if he really wants to. He can do whatever he wants with you. And that's why the Lord is so much bigger than anything on the face of the planet, the whole entire like universe and galaxy, you know. It's a thing that people don't understand, that in these other beliefs or whatever, they believe that the universe is what does everything. Well, the universe is a reference to God, whether they realize it or not. And that's why when you call it a universe, I don't know if God likes that. That's why I keep saying the universe. That's why I keep saying God, 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 because God created everything. It's not exactly called the universe. It's called, Holy Father, God, Jesus Christ, and stuff like that. So, all right, let's get back to reading. The Lord's great victory over the nations. Chapter 38. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, set your face against Gog of the land, a Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, prophesied against him, and say, This is what the sovereign Lord says. I am against you, Gog, chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. I will turn you around, put hooks in your jaws, and bring you out with your whole army whole army, your horses, your horsemen, fully armed, and great horde, with great and small shields, all of them brandishing their swords. Persia, Cush, and put them with all the shields and helmets. Also Gomer with all the troops, and Beth Togarmah from far north with all its troops, and many nations with you. Get ready, be prepared, and you all, and be prepared. You and all the hordes gather about, and take command of them. After many days you will be called to arms. In the future you will invade the land that has recovered from war, whose people were gathered from many nations to mountains of Israel, which had been long desolated. They had been brought out from the nations, and now all of them will live in safety. You and all your troops, and many nations with you will go up, advancing like a storm. You will be like a cloud covering the land. This is what the sovereign Lord says. On that day, though, will come into your mind, and you will devise an evil scheme. You will say, I will invade the land in unwalled villages. I will attack a peaceful and unsuspecting people, all of them living without walls and without gates and bars. I will plunder and loot and turn my hand against them. The resulted ruin, and the people gathered from the nations, rich in livestock goods, living at the center of the land. Sheba and Dedan, and the merchants of Tarshish, and all her villages will say to you, have you come to plunder what you have gathered your hoards to loot, to carry off silver and gold, to take away livestock and goods and seize much plunder? Therefore, Son of Man, prophesy and say to Gog, this is what the sovereign Lord says. In a day when my people Israel are living in safety, you must not take notice of it. You will not take notice of it. You will come from your peace in the far north, and you and many nations with you, all of them riding horses, a great horde, a mighty army. You will advance against my people Israel like a cloud that covers the land. In the days to come, Gog, I will bring you against my land, so that the nations may know me when I am proved holy through you before my eyes. This is what the sovereign Lord says. You are the one I spoke for in the former days by my servant that prophesied of Israel. At that time they prophesied for years that I would bring you against them. This is what will happen in a day when Gog attacks the land of Israel. My hot anger will arouse, declares the sovereign Lord, and my zeal and fiery wrath. I declare that at the time there shall be a great earthquake in the land of Israel. The fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, the beasts of the field, every creature that moves along the ground, all the people on the face of the earth will tremble at my presence. The mountain will be overturned, the cliffs will crumble, and every wall will fall to the ground. I will summon a sword against Gog on all my mountains, declares the sovereign Lord. Every man's sword will be against his brother. I will execute judgment on him with plague and bloodshed. I will pour down torrents of rain, hailstone, and burning sulfur on him and on his troops and on the many nations with them. And so I will show my greatness and holiness, and I will make myself known in the sight of many nations. They will know that I am the Lord. Alright, so we're on chapter 39. So the Lord's basically saying that, again, the Lord's gonna reign over all, and he's gonna, correct everything that needs to be corrected. And that's simply what the whole entire chapter was saying. Yeah, again, the Lord's gonna correct what he needs to correct. That's why I always let the Lord do stuff, And eventually, if somebody doesn't see it, you keep planting a seed, and you'll see the people that are, the people that aren't exactly noticing it just yet. You plant a seed, you keep planting a seed, you keep watering that seed. If I'm not the only one seeing that, and other people are pointing it out to you, then trust and believe. There's something going on, and people are seeing it. And you might not be seeing it yet, but you will see it. And you will see that it's going to get corrected soon. So just take it into consideration when you're doing stuff. If you're really, really pulled into stuff, be careful with that because you might be, there might be forms of symbolism there. There might be some sort of paganism behind that makes you really, really like that thing. And you have to remember that, you know, that thing that you like might not, something might happen to it later on because of how everybody's looking at it. So just take into consideration that before you get too deep into really, really liking stuff or, anything like that. And yeah, that's about it. So if you like what you saw here, again, I haven't said this in a while, but if you like what you saw here, hit the like button. Please subscribe. And also, have a wonderful and blessed day. Take it easy, and God bless.